You are listening to the Fringe Radio Network. FringeRadioNetwork.com.
You're listening to Earth Oddity, a weekly odyssey into all the oddity planet Earth has to offer. And now, serving it up are Christopher Tiny Sullivan and John Long.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Earth Oddity Podcast. We thank you so much for joining us. I'm Tiny. Sitting across from me is my buddy John Long.
Howdy.
Together, we are the bad boys of Southern evangelical comedy, the unacknowledged, the unofficial, and the unwanted voices of Southern Baptists across the nation. And we thank you for joining us.
Yeah, we appreciate you pressing play again on another episode. You guys are great for doing so. How was your week this week, Tiny?
It was weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
A weird week. I was pretty good. I thought I would bring up just quickly at the onset of the show. I didn't tell you this before we started recording. So last week when I got home, well, after the podcast, I went to the office, had a little bit to do. Deidre called me. It's about 11:30. It's like, hey, where you at? I'm like, I'm at the office wrapping some stuff up. Got to take some stuff down the hall, put it on somebody's desk. I'm coming home. She's like, well, you've been gone a long time. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll be home when I get home, you know? So I get home, and for the first time ever, she was like, I don't know, you spend a lot of time on this podcast.
Oh, no. We can't have two wives against us, John. We can only have one.
But then I was like, well, yeah, I was gone for 3.5 hours, and probably 30, 45 minutes of that was at the office. I didn't have to go by the office, but we didn't have anything planned today. And she's like, well, you know, now that I'm working Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sundays are our only day together with nothing to do. And Sunday, we got to go to church, so it's not like we really don't have a whole lot to do. And I was like, well, that's cool. You know, I'll talk with Tiny, see if he can record at night sometimes, like Friday night or whatever, which I asked you about. Right. But that was because Thomas had a birthday party Saturday. Well, really, they spent the night Friday night into Saturday. And I was like, but, you know, Tiny and Tara have they do date nights. And so I don't know when that is and all that. And she was like, well, this is like our date day.
No.
And so I was like, okay, hey, you know, point taken.
No more Saturday mornings.
Well, no, that doesn't necessarily mean that. What it turned out to be, in my opinion, is she wanted to clean the house and she wanted some help. So that's what we did all day Saturday. And so I'm like sweeping the floor and I'm looking up at her like dusting the tables. I'm like, hey, babe, date day is number one. Okay. I love it. You know?
This is so romantic.
Yeah.
Scrubbing these toilets.
We're spending a lot of time together. I love date day. But then it came out because, you know, I was thinking about the whole thing. So casually, I'm like, what time did everybody get up and get going today? She's like, about 9 o'clock. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I left the house like at 8, you know, so that's an hour of time right there. I get back, you know, to my good. And then after we finally get everything cleaned up, she decides she wants to watch some TV. We sit down and she falls asleep. She sleeps for another hour. All right. So I was gone for 3.5 hours. I got 2 hours back. So I really only was an hour and a half away from her when she was consciously awake. So I pointed that out to her, which she didn't appreciate.
She didn't. She didn't appreciate you pointing that out.
Didn't appreciate me
shocking
running the clock on her. So then we were getting in bed Saturday night. We had everybody, you know, bedded down. We're getting to bed, and I'm like, hey, babe, date day. You know, you know what it means when it's date day. You know,
I know what it means. It means get that dustpan.
She's like, hi, I'm so tired after doing all this work. I'm just going to go in and go to sleep. I was like, well, this has been the greatest date day ever. Then this week, Saturday, Thomas and his buddies spent the night. So they kept us up most of the night.
Right.
So we didn't do a whole lot Saturday. Libby and I went and bought some new work shoes because I ruined mine, which is a whole nother story that I won't even get into. Right. How I ruined a pair of dress shoes. And we get home And she's like, well, let's watch some TV or something. I'm like, okay. So she finds, I don't even remember what we were watching. Oh, Arrested Development on Netflix. Okay. And I'm like, hey, it's date day, babe. You're just throwing it out there. It's date day.
Date day.
But she didn't feel too good. So it was not the date day I hoped it would be.
Bummer.
Yeah, right. So anyways.
Just think you could have been talking about weird news.
And I just tell you, Deidre has always let me do whatever I want to do, but we have both what we call exclusive foot down privileges. And if one day she's like, you can't do the podcast anymore, I'm gonna be like, Tiny, I can't do the podcast anymore.
Oh, no.
But I don't foresee that happening. I just think she was in a bad mood because she had started cleaning up the house and I was nowhere to be found.
Right.
And she had a whole, in her mind, day already laid out. We're going to clean up the house, going to watch TV, cook some supper. And I was not involved with the first part of that. So,
right.
Yeah. So anyways, we don't need two women against us.
No. Well, that's terrifying.
It's a little alarming, isn't it? So this could be we could be coming to the end of the Earth Oddity Road. I hope not.
I hope not, for your sake.
Yeah, for everybody's sake.
Exactly.
Personally, I don't need the podcast, but I like doing it.
I love doing it. Yeah. I mean, if I have to wake up at 1 a.m. to record over the internet, I'll do it.
I don't want to record. If we have to go to like full-time recording over the internet, I will quit. I'll just go throw it out there. All right. Okay. I don't enjoy doing it over the internet. I'll quit.
I was about to say, I would much rather record in person. It sounds better.
It does. And we know what each other's going to talk. We can see each other's expressions. It's just better, in my opinion.
It's worlds better.
Yeah, it feels very choppy when we do it over the internet, when I listen to it, because we don't know when the other person's going to talk.
Yeah, and there's a lot of language that's not verbal.
Right, exactly.
Just, social cues.
Yeah,
and we're picking up on.
Yeah, we have a whole secret language you guys don't even know about, sign language-wise, probably. Right. Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
So anyways, let's talk about weird news.
There is.
Odd news, well, first, some would say.
Let me mention this. One thing that wasn't weird was Five Guys winning the French fry poll in the Facebook group last week.
Right. Look, I have taken down everybody's name who voted for Five Guys. Yeah. Really surprised Derek Reeves would go against me, because we have an established relationship beyond the podcast. But everybody else is on the naughty list. I just want y'all to know. And y'all did it to spite me. I get it. And Dapper Dan.
Well, it was really one of the world's foremost authorities on French fries.
Sounds like
one of the smartest people that we know.
He called me because Tiny, I love arguing on the internet. It's like one of my hobbies.
Yes.
And he caught me when I had some time one day, and we had a pretty good little argument. But I will just say this: the popular vote isn't always the right vote. Okay. Well, Hillary Clinton won the popular vote, okay?
Right.
So you basically are a Hillary Clinton fan, and that's fine.
I would like to thank our audience for coming out in support.
Look.
Not that it surprises me.
No, it's first of all, Five Guys shouldn't even been on the list. They're not fast food.
Well, okay, what you're seeing right here, people, this is strategy number one.
No,
Is where
the poll was made under false pretenses.
Okay, well, that's strategy number two, because strategy one is we change the rules and say Five Guys doesn't count because it's not fast food.
It's not fast food.
Strategy number two is
I clearly demonstrated that in that whole argument. It's not fast food.
Strategy number two is you attack the data and say that it's not reliable.
Well, I think everybody voted for what they voted for. Now, I will say I could have manipulated this vote pretty well. All I needed to do was get on my personal Facebook page and say, hey, guys, everybody come and vote for McDonald's fries, and it would have happened.
And you didn't do it for some reason.
I didn't, because I'm an honest person. And I was going to let people – I wanted the Five Guys crowd to out themselves, So now I know who the enemies are, right?
Well, let me just say this, that I'm not going to rub this in John's face too much.
No need to, because I'm still right.
Loser.
I'm 100% right.
This week, I've got bigger French to fry, okay?
I like it. You planned that out, but I like it.
I've been sitting on that all week.
That was a really good one. Yeah. No. All right, I know you got bigger French to fry, but I just want one last word. I will die thinking that McDonald's fries are better.
Right.
No polls will change that. No amount of arguments will change that. I am confident, and the numbers back me up. McDonald's has sold trillions of fries. Five Guys isn't even big enough to have a drive-through. So I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
All right.
I'll let you have this one because I want to talk about some weird news. What you got this week?
I got a McDonald's story. I got a McDonald's related story.
Okay.
Right? In honor of McDonald's having the best French fries, no matter what 20 people out of 700 and something in our group say. We're acting like this is some sort of overwhelming victory.
I think you're
just shows voter turnout was
a
low.
little bit because it was 20 people voted just for Five Guys.
Right.
So there was more people than that
sure
participated.
Somebody voted for Arby's. I don't remember who it was, but I was like, I'm disgusted by you. You're the lowest of the low. So I got a McDonald's story.
Okay.
I got a sheriff in Kalamazoo County who's a little upset because people were calling him fat online. And
has he never been online before?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe his first
that's
day.
pretty tame.
And I got a kid that got sent to juvenile detention center.
All right. Well, I've got a fake hitman website that was used by a lady who was after her husband.
Okay.
We've got a man who tried to fake his death. But I wanted to start with a UFO story.
Okay.
We got a UFO story this time.
All right.
Now, the headline here is no longer in shadows. Pentagon's UFO unit makes some findings public. This UFO story, would you like to take a guess at what news outlet this might be? This is probably like we're not alone.com.
I was thinking Inside Edition. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
No, it's the New York Times, John.
Okay.
The
All
New
right.
York Times.
The old gray lady.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's almost like they came out last week and said, hey, aliens might be real. And
then
nobody's talking about it.
The debate was raging on what the best French fry was.
Yeah.
We took away from it,
Yeah.
And we're part of the problem, Tiny.
Well, anyway, it says here that despite Pentagon statements that it disbanded a once covert program to investigate unidentified flying objects, the effort remains underway. Renamed and tucked inside the Office of Naval Intelligence, where officials continue to study mystifying encounters between military pilots and unidentified aerial vehicles.
Sure.
This came out in December of 2017.
Yeah, I think we originally talked about it on this podcast. Yeah.
Well, it's been a running story. We talked about it back then. And then it came out briefly because the Pentagon,
right. They
came out and said, okay, those 3 videos that were leaked, they're real.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just another one where they go a little bit further because they say that, so the article goes on to talk about ATIP, which was the program.
That's right.
Mr. Elizondo says that this program no longer has to hide in the shadows. Mr. Elizondo is among a small group of former government officials and scientists with security clearances who, without presenting physical proof, they say they are convinced that objects of undetermined origin have crashed on Earth with materials retrieved for study.
There we go.
Now,
there we go, guys. They're here.
Luis Elizondo, he's a UFO guy, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, come on, whatever.
I assume he is. I don't really know who Luis is.
Luis Elizondo was head of ATIP.
Okay.
Back in, when was it, 20?
Yeah, that's right. I remember. Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah, so he's a big UFO dude.
And then he left, and he went to work for Tom DeLonge for his...
That's right, the Blink 182 guy, right?
Yes, for his Academy of... To the Stars Academy for Arts and Sciences. Well, also in this article, they quote Mr. Reed, Mr. Harry Reed.
Okay.
Former Democratic senator from Nevada.
Oh, people used to hate him, Yeah,
well,
I mean, big time. He was hated.
Well, he was the senator. It was him and 2 other senators that got the funding for the ATIP program.
Okay.
He is quoted in this article as saying, after looking into this, I came to the conclusion that there were reports, some were substantive, some were not, that there were actual materials that the government and the private sector had in its possession.
All right.
Now, no crash artifacts have so far been produced publicly for independent verification. Some retrieved objects, such as unusual metallic fragments, were later identified from laboratory studies as man-made. So we still haven't put any hands on these materials,
but they're there.
That we're talking about. Well, allegedly,
right.
According to Mr. Elizondo and according to Mr. Harry Reid, they're saying that they are there. Enter a Dr. Eric Davis.
Oh, Eric Davis, former Cincinnati Red.
Not
Great.
that one.
Okay,
That's
all right,
a different one.
Well, it's a shame Eric Davis is not a Baseball Hall of Fame. I'll just say that. He was a great player. Go ahead. Anyway,
he is an astrophysicist who has worked as a subcontractor and then as a consultant for the Pentagon UFO program since 2007. He said that in some cases, examination of some materials had so far failed to determine their source and led him to conclude that we could not make these ourselves.
Okay.
Talking about mankind. He says that the constraints on discussing classified programs and the ambiguity of information cited in unclassified slides from the briefings have put officials who have studied UFOs in the position of stating their views without presenting any hard evidence. Mr. Davis, who now works for Aerospace Corporation, a defense subcontractor, said that he gave a classified briefing to a Defense Department agency as recently as March about retrievals from, quote, off-world vehicles not made on this earth.
Well,
let me say it again.
Off-world.
Off-world vehicles not made on this earth.
Okay.
Mr. Davis, he says that he has also given classified briefings on retrievals of unexplained objects to staff members of the Senate Armed Services Committee on October 21st of last year and to staff members of the Senate Intelligence Committee 2 days later. Committee staff members did not respond to a request for comment on the issue. Imagine that.
Huh.
But public fascination with the topic of UFOs has drawn in President Trump, who told his son, Donald Trump Jr., in a June interview that he knew, quote, very interesting things about Roswell, a city in New Mexico that is central to speculation about the existence of said UFOs. The president demurred when asked if he would declassify any of the information on Roswell, and he said that he would just simply have to think about that. Either way, Mr. Reed said more should be made public to clarify what is known and what is not. It is extremely important that information about the discovery of physical materials or retrieved craft come out.
Okay.
So this whole article, it quotes those three guys, and it says that that this program, it's no longer ATIP. It's now called something else.
Yeah.
But they want to come forward and at least make some of this publicly known.
All right. Well,
so heads up, the last half of 2020, if it hasn't been weird enough already, just wait.
I want to go on record. This has nothing to do with the UFOs, but 2020 has been a really great year for me personally.
Right.
You know, I've no complaints so far. I know everybody else is all upset, but I'm having a stellar year. Outside of my wife being mad about me spending a few hours away from home.
That one Saturday.
Saturday of our entire marriage, but whatever. But I find it curious that that they're just now talking about all this. Mm-hmm. You know, what, I mean, is it all, do we owe it all to Blink 182? You know, like, is he the driving force that's getting all this stuff out here?
I mean, he's certainly the guy who got those first 3 videos released.
Yeah.
So maybe.
I mean, I would like to.
But I feel like it's got to be more than that because, I mean, you released 3 videos. You know, first of all, the Pentagon, they didn't have to come out and say that was real.
Right.
They could have just let people wonder if that was real or not. It is interesting.
I just wonder what's driving it. You know,
like,
what's the point of it? If you've been keeping it secret all this time, what's the point in now?
And we don't know how long. I mean, we know that ATIP started, I want to say, in 2004.
Yeah.
Or somewhere around that time.
Right.
And people suspect it goes back before that.
Sure, they've been collecting data since Roswell.
Right.
Yeah.
Allegedly. According to the president.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's very interesting. I'll say that much. I am intrigued.
Let me say this. Now, this Dr. Eric Davis, it is his quote of off-world craft that certainly gets the most attention. I did a little bit of research on this guy, John.
Okay.
Now, you know how thorough my research can be.
Sure.
I mean, I typed his name into Google.
Okay.
All right.
I'm sure Eric Davis from the Cincinnati Reds came up first. Way more popular.
Not when you click the news tab.
Okay. All right.
But I just wanted to mention that he received a PhD in astrophysics from the University of Arizona in 1991, and that he is now a research physicist at the Institute for Advanced Studies, Austin, and Earth Tech International, and he is also the CEO of Warp Drive Metrics, which is also located in Austin, Texas. He contracts with and consults to the Air Force Research Laboratory. During 1996 and 2002, he was with the National Institute for Discovery Science in Las Vegas, Nevada, where he served as the staff aerospace researcher. He also participated in and consulted to the NASA Breakthrough Propulsion Physics program. And he co-founded the Advanced Deep Space Teletransport Technology Assessment Group at NASA.
This dude sounds like a super nerd.
I watched an interview with him. Yes,
I'm sure he
absolutely
is.
a super nerd.
Like, I thought he may be salvageable when I heard he went to Arizona,
Yeah.
instead of like Harvard or MIT or somewhere.
But the point is, he's not like a dude living in a trailer park.
Yeah, right.
In Las Vegas.
No, he's credible.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Which you would think that the New York Times would check
Well,
anybody that they're quoting.
according to the president, they're fake news. Okay?
No, that's CNN.
Well, everybody's fake news according to the
fake news
president.
somewhat,
Even
yeah.
Fox sometimes they'll
That's
call
true.
them fake news. He's everybody's fake news.
If it's a negative story, that's fake news. But if
Absolutely.
it's positive,
yeah,
then he's going to retweet it,
that's right.
even if it's coronavirus is a hoax
It's sent here from China.
via the Love Connection guy.
That's true. I forgot that was last week.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I hope there are aliens,
Mhm.
Because they could have already killed us. So I guess they got some reason for keeping us around.
Right.
I'm not too worried about that. I just think it'd be kind of cool to get that confirmed. Yeah, I don't know. Ezekiel saw a flaming wheel. I just like to point that out. People forget.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly complicates things, but I just want to know the facts.
Yeah,
I
right.
just want to believe what's true.
Right.
And I'll go where the facts take me. And while I will say I do think at this point maybe it is a little bit premature,
Yeah.
but all you UFO guys out there, go ahead and start getting your I told you so's ready. Because it's looking like things may come down in your favor.
And that's what I was saying, like the whole releasing all this now. It seems like it's let me make you look over here about aliens, and we're pumping out all kind of military technology over here that now we're going to blame on aliens because people are wising up to us. I don't know.
Not to mention that a judge did rule that was it Ghislaine Maxwell?
Yeah.
She had a deposition. The judge ruled that all that was going to be made public
Oh, wow.
next week. So-
Okay. Well, that's good. I know that she's not going to trial for a year.
Right.
They better keep her under a close watch. I don't see her making it in jail.
I don't see her making it, period.
But maybe they need to put this guy in charge of protecting her, okay?
Okay.
So from Kalamazoo, Michigan, one of the great town names of the world, Kalamazoo. I love any town with zoo in the name. There's Yazoo City, Mississippi,
Mhm.
Kalamazoo. Really the only two I can think of off the top of my head. Yeah, anyways, a West Michigan sheriff sent detectives to investigate a Facebook message he received calling him fat. Now, as a fellow fat guy, I would say words hurt sometimes. I have to remind that to my kids because our kids love to call me fat. I'm like, hey, daddy has feelings too, The incident report obtained by News Channel 3 through the Freedom of Information Act revealed Kalamazoo Sheriff Richard Fuller directed his investigators to the home of the man accused of sending the message. While no crime occurred, the report showed Fuller sent detectives, not deputies, to talk to the man accused of sending the sheriff a Facebook message. You're a fat double who needs to go on a diet. Stop us from living. Come get me if you want me, Tubby, as a fat B word.
He took him up on that.
Uh-huh. The report showed the sheriff took the message as threatening in nature and showed Fuller requested his employees make contact with the sender and warn against any threatening posts in the future. Can you imagine that dude where they knocked on the door? He's like, there go my dick come. I didn't think they'd do it,
Yes. You think he turned off the lights and pretended like he wasn't at home?
Yeah, right. I'd be like, man, I left my computer open. My kid got on it,
Which before he hit the send button, he was like, hey, honey, look what I was telling this guy.
That's right.
He ain't going to do nothing.
The report showed on April 6, 2020, two Kalamazoo County detectives questioned a man at his home in Richland. The report said the 48-year-old denied writing the post. I would have done the same thing and claimed his Facebook account had been hacked. I've been hacked.
Been hacked.
When you read it, your first response is that he's saying mean things. It reads kind of funny. It's so outlandish, is a quote from a Western Michigan University Law School professor and former prosecutor whose name is Anthony Flores. Flores said the message doesn't appear threatening. I think elected officials have to expect this type of commentary. They can't be super sensitive to it, Flores said. Sheriff Fuller said he got the message after he made a post encouraging people to comply with the governor's stay-at-home order. Oh, this is one of the coronavirus warriors. Fuller said he thought the message was an odd and suspicious and asked detectives to look into it. Fuller declined to do an on-camera interview, sending 2 detectives over to stop saying mean things, and that's a questionable use of resources and a bad judgment call, Flores said. Regardless of who wrote the message, the man questioned by detectives said the response seemed over the top. Now, he told him to come get him, you know?
Yeah.
He noted a lot of people say a lot of things on social media, and those comments don't result in a visit from law enforcement. A lot of freedom of speech can be deemed speech that's not harmful because it's looking to provoke, Flores said. We asked several other sheriffs in West Michigan about how they would handle the message. While most declined to comment, the 2 who did said they would have just ignored the messages. Fuller is running for a 4th term this fall in 2020, so he's looking to get reelected. Old fattest sheriff, fatty 2x4. Yeah. And look, I would hate for people. It would be a real shame if people went and found this police department or sheriff's department's Facebook thing and commented that the sheriff was fat was on it every time they posted anything. It'd be a real shame if that happened. I would hate to see that happen.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways, what would you do if the cops showed up at your door after you were mouthing off online?
Well, I like to think that odds are I wouldn't be mouthing off online.
Okay.
But if I did, I would probably cut the lights off and pretend like I was at home.
That's how they flashbang your door and come in, Tiny. You got to answer.
And then once I was questioned, I would probably be like, "That wasn't me. That was my kid. He was."
That's right.
I left my Facebook open, and
Exactly.
he got on and said,
I got hacked. That's it. I would either go with I got hacked, deny first, always deny, and then go with I got hacked or I'm a sovereign citizen. And you hold no rights over me.
I would also say, look at me. Do I have any right to be calling anybody else fat?
Right.
What are you worried about what I said?
It's cool if I call people fat. I am fat.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. That's our word.
That's our word. Don't let some skinny person say it.
Yeah.
Well, we can call each other that.
It's only a hate crime if like Skinny Jeans over there says
Right.
it. Okay, that's our word. We can
Yes.
say that. We can call each other that.
Yeah, that's just how it works. Yeah. But, I mean, Sheriff, big, thin skin. I mean, come on, man. You got to let that roll off of you.
Right.
My kids say worse to me than that.
I've had worse things said about me on the internet.
Yeah.
A lot.
Oh, yeah.
A lot
Big
worse
time.
things.
Big time. Had a lot of people get a little triggered talking about soccer on the whole poll thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
A lot of people really touchy about American football. They mad we call it football. But whatever.
I mean, we're in
Right.
America. We can do what we want. We can
I mean,
call things what we want to call them in America.
It is football. That's what it's called. You know, I'm sorry, y'all call your sport football too. And then they always hit you, well, you know,
And also,
it's the most popular sport in the world. I'm like, well, most of the world doesn't even have air conditioning. Like what are you telling me? You know?
Yeah.
That's how long you got to run to get tired enough to go to sleep.
You know what else is popular around
That's
the world?
a stolen
Communism.
joke, by the way. That's right. Communism is very popular around the world too. Yeah.
I don't like it either.
Yeah, like the reason people love soccer around the world is because they don't have American football. You know, like if they
Right.
could watch football, they would love it.
There is a documentary series on Netflix called Home Game.
Oh
I
yeah,
think Nicole posted it up in like under our recommendations thread on the Discord.
right.
It's about like various like extreme sport around
Okay.
the world. Now I've only seen the first episode.
Oh, I've heard about it. I hadn't watched it
the
though.
very first.
Maybe I heard about it from
episode is
there.
about a game, and I can't even think of the name. It's some Italian word, but the game is played. There's like a certain amount of people on either team, and there's a ball, and you're trying to get the ball, and you're trying to throw it in a net. Not like basketball,
Yeah.
but it's more like the net is kind of like half the size of a soccer goal, but it runs the length of the field. And in order to advance the ball to the net and throw it, it involves you boxing people.
Okay, I can get on board watching that. I don't know that I want to participate, but I'll watch it.
It was incredible, man,
Wow.
because these guys, now once someone puts you on the ground, like you have to stay on the ground until a goal is made and then
Okay.
you get back up for the next round.
Huh.
But yeah, dudes will be out there kicking, punching.
Wow.
Everything is crazy.
Huh.
And there's only 4 teams, and it's like the 4 districts of the city in Italy where it's played. And there's 3 games a year. There's like the semifinals and the final game.
Wow.
Every year.
So if it was America, if we had this, like, say in Tuscaloosa, at Northport had a team, we would just hire like all the best fighters to come move to our town and be on our team. right? So then we would win.
Yeah.
Yeah. They should do that in Italy. I should be a coach. I've already figured it out. We'll hire like Conor McGregor. We'll get all the, greatest boxers, Deontay Wilder.
Well, and then I will say this also, that they said the players, they don't get paid anything.
Yeah, it's just for fun.
It's all just for the glory of their district that they grew up in and all this stuff. I think you do have to be, you can't like move somewhere. I think you actually have to be born in that district to be eligible to play.
Well, see, we used to play a game as a kid, and you may have used to play it. Very problematic name.
Easy now.
It's smear the blank. I can't say the last word. Do you play that game?
Yes.
It's just all out. It's just all out. Everyone try to kill the person with the ball, right?
Yes.
And we played that. I can't tell you how many hours we played that in the vacant lot beside my house.
Yeah,
bloody nose, broken arms, all of that.
The way I always played, you hold the ball as long as you can, and then right as someone's to smear you, try to pass the ball off to somebody else or throw it up or something. That's what we would do.
We played, you had 2 goals, like 2 lines, like whatever. This power pole is 1 goal and that tree's the other one. And if you had the ball, you got over there and you got to score a point.
Oh.
So then you couldn't really give up the ball. And then people would try to get it from you so they could score. And then it was just, we're punching and kicking and biting and everything else.
That makes way more sense than the game I played. The game I played was a bunch of people like throwing the ball around.
Running around.
If you had the ball, somebody could, whoop your tail.
Right, yeah.
And so you try to throw the ball. There were no winners. There were only losers in this game.
And we played another game in Scouts called Wischickson, which was apparently like a Native American game.
Okay.
And you had a ball, and you had 2 like 55-gallon drums on either end of the field, and a circle around those drums that you couldn't go in. But to score, you had to get the ball into the drum. Well, it was all hands, and you could run with the ball and everything. But it was like full contact, and it was probably the roughest thing I've ever played in my life. It was a really fun game, though.
We played burn ball. Did you play that?
We called it murder ball when we played.
The way we played it was a tennis ball. You had a wall, and you throw the tennis ball. The ball will bounce off the wall, and if it hits you, then you have to run and tag the wall.
Yeah.
Now, you can catch it. If you catch it, then that's fine.
Right.
You throw the ball up against the wall again.
Yeah.
But if it touches you or you go to catch it, but you drop it, you have to run and tag the wall, because during that time you're running to tag the wall, someone else can pick up the ball and throw it at you as hard as they can. And then if you tag the wall and then the ball hits you, then you can call fire squad.
Oh, okay.
You and one other person, whoever the first person to call fire squad was, they go and they put their hands up against the wall, and those 2 folks get a free shot at you. That's how we played. Once again, no points, no winners, only losers.
Well, we played a game. We made up a game. Well, I don't think we made it up, but we started playing it at the Scout Room, the old American Legion building. You've been in there. It had a big basketball court in it. And we called it foot hockey, where we took a block of wood, and it was like a combination between hockey and soccer, basically. And it was full contact, no holds barred. The only rule is if you had your foot on top of the block of the wood, you couldn't kick that person's foot, because we like broke somebody's foot doing that, trying to get the block of wood loose. So
I think we need a Netflix limited series for us to go back and explore all these.
You don't even know the stupid
we
stuff.
Used to play when we were kids.
We had another game with, like a shaker you get at a football game, the plastic handle. We just called it Slappy Stick, and whoever had the stick was like in charge, and they could just beat the crap out of you with it. And the whole point of the game was to be the person with the stick, because otherwise you were getting whelps all over your body.
How do you get
this was in college when we did this too. How did you get the stick?
How do you get the stick?
You had to fight the other person to get it. Yeah, you'd wrestle it or whatever. I distinctly remember being in the
similar to the King of the Hill,
brand new Earl McDonald Auditorium thing at Bell State in Fayette. and rolling around in the band pit where like instruments and cymbals were and stuff. We were all just fighting for this stick.
Trying to get the slappy stick.
Trying to get the slappy stick. If Paul West is listening, I know he'll remember. We used to beat the crap out of each other there for no reason at all. I don't know why. It was so fun, though. It was so much fun.
I like to imagine it's at this point when the aliens who were observing us, studying us, they just shrug their shoulders and fly away.
Right, these people are too violent. Look what they're doing for fun. What are they going to do when they get mad? You know? These people are too violent.
And then like the little nerdy alien comes out with his spreadsheet and he's like, well, in 1945, they got really mad at this one island nation.
That's right. Anyway, so that's talking sports with John and Tiny.
Yes.
But yeah, I just don't know. I just think about sometimes the things we used to do, and I was like, man, that was just kind of dumb. Like, we would intentionally try to hurt each other, and we're all in for it. You know, there's never once where I was like, no, I don't want to play slappy stick, guys. It was like every day. So much fun.
Well, we were talking about the fat sheriff.
Yes.
And you were asking me what I would do.
Yes.
If he tried to hunt me down and ask me about my hurtful comments I made on the internet. There is one more option.
Okay.
This fake your death.
All right. Yeah, that's always an option.
But don't make the mistake that this one guy made. There's a man in Long Island who faked his death to avoid jail, but then a typo on his fake death certificate gave him away.
Oh, man.
A Long Island criminal defendant tried faking his death to avoid a jail sentence, but the phony death certificate his lawyer submitted had a glaring spelling error that made it a dead giveaway for fraud, prosecutor said Tuesday.
I've got a feeling this isn't the greatest lawyer. You know,
I was going to say, how about that defense lawyer that he was able to rope into this?
I'm amazing that the lawyer would be in, like, hey, I'm down to do this, but if you're misspelling stuff on a death certificate, you're probably not the greatest lawyer anyways.
Most lawyers, don't they? Most of them have like a paralegal to go over this stuff first.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Anyway. Robert Berger, 25, of Huntington, New York, now faces up to 4 years in prison if convicted in the alleged scheme. That's in addition to pending sentences for earlier guilty pleas to charges of possession of a stolen Lexus and attempted grand larceny of a truck. Punishment prosecutors say that he was looking to avoid. It will never cease to amaze me the lengths some people will go to avoid being held accountable on criminal charges, Nassau County District Attorney Madeline Singus said in a telephone interview. Arraigned by video Tuesday because of the coronavirus pandemic, Berger pleaded not guilty to a single count of offering a false instrument for filing. A judge set bail at $1, but ordered Berger back to, it's funny because it says ordered Berger, but ordered Berger back to jail because of his underlying cases. His next court date is scheduled for July 29th. So Robert Berger is still alive.
Yeah. Got to give him credit for trying, you know?
I can't get over that lawyer who was like, yeah, this is a great idea.
Right. No, I don't mind losing my law license. It's fine. Yeah.
I mean, was this Saul Goodman?
Maybe so. It's rough. If you're not a good lawyer, it's rough. I think it's a pretty tough industry from what I've heard, If you're not like with a really good firm and you just decide to strike out on your own and you're trying to make cases or whatever, it's like the restaurant business. You just working all the time and, trying to get money, and people that can't pay, you put them on a payment plan, then you're trying to collect from them and all that. It's just,
and next thing you know, a client offers you some money to claim that you're dead and hand
give you $20,000 if you forge me a death certificate. You're like, all right, sounds good to me.
That.
Yeah, I can do that.
What's the worst that they can do? Disbar me?
Right. Yeah. I hate doing this anyways. Well, let's talk about one kid. This is from thegrio.com. Not even sure what this is, what type of website this is. It is written by Blue Telusma.
Huh. Nice
Great name. A 15-year-old is in juvenile detention despite the pandemic after a judge ruled she violated her probation. Okay?
Okay. It happens sometimes.
That happens. In a stunning turn of events, a 15-year-old student in Michigan, second story from Michigan so far. Okay. All right, Michigan, the Florida of the Midwest. Really, I think Ohio is more the Florida of the Midwest. Michigan's probably like the Alabama of the Midwest. except for football wise, But anyways,
They do have a nice stadium.
they do. I mean, now they like to think they're a lot better than what they are. They won like a half a championship in the last like 30 years.
Right.
They really think they're important up there. But whatever. We did whiff up on them in a bowl game this past year with Mac Jones, our backup quarterback. But whatever. This isn't a sports podcast,
No, it's not.
Tiny. It's not. In a stunning turn of events, a 15-year-old student in Michigan has been sent to juvenile detention during the pandemic after a judge ruled that she violated her probation by not completing her online schoolwork. The teen, only identified to the public as Grace, has originally gotten into trouble for fighting with her mother and stealing, but had since cleared up her act and had a near-perfect attendance record at her school.
Well, she don't have to go to school.
That's right. But apparently she's supposed to be doing online work.
Okay.
It just doesn't make any sense, said her stunned mother, who points out that she had been kept away from her child for a month before being allowed to visit her at the Children's Village Juvenile Detention Center in suburban Detroit. Despite the nation being the epicenter of a global pandemic that mandates social distancing in May, Grace's family was stunned and devastated when a judge incarcerated the child for not completing her online coursework. Local advocates are outraged and say they are unaware of any other cases involving the use of juvenile detention for a child failing to meet academic requirements after schools closed to spread COVID-19. Ricky Watson Jr., who's the executive director of the National Juvenile Justice Network, had no idea that existed, but it's good to know now in case one of our kids get in trouble.
I was just sitting here thinking, I can't believe you get in trouble for that.
Yeah.
A little bit alarming.
Who even can be a good student right now, he asked. Unless there's an urgent need, I don't understand why you would be sending a kid to any facility right now and taking them away from their families with all that we're dealing with right now. Some experts also believe that this case may also reflect the systematic racial bias that has impacted Black communities during the pandemic. Grace's mother agrees with the assessment, given she and her child live in a predominantly white community where Black youth are disproportionately targeted by the justice system, including the use of juvenile detention. Seeing her child led out of the courtroom in handcuffs was heartbreaking for her mom. For us and our culture, that for me was the knife stuck in my stomach and turning, her mom said. That is our history being shackled, and she didn't deserve that. So there we go. Now, one side of me says, if you're on probation, you got to mind your P's and Q's no matter what, right?
Right.
Other side of me says, seems a little excessive for not doing your homework,
I was gonna
right?
say, the other side of me says down with homework.
Right. Now, the third side of me says, why don't we I just miss the good old days when you could go on Dr. Phil and work this out with a problem child
Yes.
in front of the entire world and they get internet famous. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what we should be doing with these cases.
Do you not have the right to be stupid?
I think you do.
Is that not
Right.
a human right?
But
Because there's
a
a lot of people on Twitter exercising it.
Right. Well, there's different conditions to probation.
Right.
I've never been on probation. Just want to go on the record, but I know a lot of people who have. And you have to, stay out of trouble or maybe complete your schoolwork.
Do your
I'm sure it's
homework.
different if you're a juvenile than it is if you're an adult.
Mhm.
Show up for random drug tests when they call you and all that. So you got to do those things or you get back in jail.
Right.
So
Or in this case, juvenile.
I guess the old judge here was like, you didn't do what you're supposed to do, and the consequences are you go to jail. But in every sense of the reasonable, rational world, that is an excessive punishment for not doing your homework.
Yes.
I mean, just let her mama get a switch or something. And
I mean, I never did my homework in school, and they never locked me up. But then again, I am a white man, so
Right,
maybe that's
true.
why.
my mom will tell you, I used to throw my homework under the bus in elementary school before I would get on it in the afternoon. So when I showed up at home, I would get to say, I don't have any homework. Check my backpack. I've been skirting the system a long time. I know. But yeah, I feel like they don't need to be locking this kid up for this.
Mhm.
Maybe be like, hey, you got to do, go pick up trash on the side of the road or something every Saturday at 6 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
There's other ways to do it without
or maybe write, I will do my homework 100 times.
Did you ever have to write sentences before?
Oh, yes. I had to write sentences. And then you'd go to
all the way to the column.
Not.
Yes. That was standard. I had one teacher who told me I couldn't do that, though. Like I turned it in one time and she was like, that's not acceptable. You have to write each sentence, by itself. So,
oh, I'm sorry. You didn't show me like the rules of sentence writing.
I said, yes, ma'am.
Punishment.
I was like, you'll see my dad at the grocery store. I'm not arguing with you. So, yes, ma'am. I'll go home and do it again tonight. And I did it all over again. 100 sentences. Yeah.
Did you still do it the same way? You're just maybe made it look a little neater?
I did them exactly like she said because I'm a good boy. I'm just more afraid of my parents than anything else.
I feel like when a kid catches you in a loophole like that, I think you got to respect it. That's just my opinion.
I don't know.
Maybe that's because I was on the writing end of the assignment.
That's it. I just didn't want my parents to find out that I was in trouble. That was all it boiled down to. So she could have told me anything, like go get a tattoo on your forehead that says you're stupid. I'd be like, yes, ma'am. That's what I would have done.
I remember Tara told Eli one time he couldn't play on his iPad because he'd done something. And then she went to do something and she came back and he was playing on his Nintendo Switch. And she was like, I told you couldn't do that. And he was like, you told me I couldn't play on my iPad. You didn't say anything about my Switch.
I've learned that lesson too.
And she started to get mad. And I said, up. You can take away a Switch now, but he's got you.
Right.
He's got you on a technicality here.
I learned that. That's why you got to say all electronics.
Yes.
Then you can ban the TV.
Because little kids are lawyers.
Yeah, right. That's right. Yeah, because if they get you in a loophole, they will.
Right.
I mean, every time.
And I respect the game.
I do. I mean, in a way, I do.
I try to find loopholes myself.
Right.
When Tara's like, hey, I need you to cut the grass. And then she comes home and she's like, you didn't cut the grass. Like, I cut the backyard.
That's right.
You just said, you didn't say all the grass. You just said I needed to cut grass.
It's so great when your kids get old enough to do that for you,
Right.
Like every time Thomas fires up the lawnmower, I'm like, man, I'm so glad I had sex 15 years ago. Man, it was worth it. Sure, it's cost me probably $1 million over his lifetime to upkeep food and everything else. But just to get the yard mowed, it was worth it. It's completely worth it. I hate mowing the grass.
I don't like it either.
I'm trying to get my yard looking better, though.
Well, you don't have much of it.
No, I know. That's why it's really inspired me. Like maybe I can get this little bitty patch to look good.
You can finally become a yard guy.
Yeah, right. Yeah. My neighbor beside my yard looked pretty good, and mine looks trashy. So I'm working on it.
John, have you ever wanted to kill somebody?
Absolutely. Every day, honestly.
Have you ever taken steps to go through with it?
No,
It's always just been a fleeting thought.
Yeah. 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 I mean, I've never really. There was one time in high school where a friend of ours got us in trouble for smoking marijuana.
Yeah.
And we thought we were going to go to jail. And we had made up our mind that we were just going to kill him. Like, if we're going to jail, we might as well just kill this dude. But then ended up, we had some advance notice that the police were coming to question us, which police never questioned me, thank the Lord. But we all got our stories together and had a very airtight, like you can't prove anything. We don't have any evidence left or anything. All you got's hearsay, and they let us go.
Yeah, that's what you got to do when you get in trouble. You immediately gotta. Oh yeah, you got to get your story straight.
I still don't trust that dude to this day. Never will ever again.
Have you ever gone to rentahitman.com?
No, I haven't.
Because there's one lady in Michigan that did.
Another Michigan story.
Shocking. It's not a real website.
Yeah, right. I'm at rentahitman.com.
Woman tried hiring someone to kill her ex-husband on rentahitman.com, Michigan cops say.
Wow.
A Michigan woman wanted a hitman to kill her ex-husband, so she went to www.rentahitman.com. Except rentahitman.com is a fake website created to lure people like Wendy Ween, who was arrested Friday after her failed attempt, according to state police. Ween of South Rockwood went to the website and completed a service request form requesting a consultation, police said in a news release. When she said her ex-husband was the target of her problems, the owner of the website alerted state police, according to the release. State police began an investigation and had a state trooper go undercover as a hitman, police said. The trooper met with her in a parking lot. She offered to pay him $5,000 to murder her ex-husband, who lives in another state, and she provided him with an upfront payment for travel expenses.
Okay, that's fair.
Now, I would just like to say $5,000. I'm not snuffing anyone out for less than six figures.
Yeah.
She should have known at that point that this was a bad idea.
Well, I may go, 5 before, 5 after it's done. That's probably how I'd have played it.
Anyway.
What was Joe Exotic? They said he paid, I don't remember how much, that dude to kill Carol Baskins.
Well, see, that's what gets you caught. If you're going to kill someone, it needs to be $100,000 or more.
Yeah.
No one's going to prison for life. $5,000 is ridiculous.
But go ahead. I was saying, moral of the story is, if you need to kill somebody, just kill them yourself.
Yeah, right.
That's just bottom line.
Well,
you can't trust that to somebody else.
I don't remember what episode it was, but we had that one story where this dude, he agreed to kill someone, but then he subcontracted it to another hitman.
That's right.
He
yes.
subcontracted it to another hitman.
That was in China or somewhere.
It was like 6 different Chinese hitmans who were agreed to kill this guy.
That's probably.
I think the last one was all the way down to something like $5,000 or something.
That was probably back.
Got him caught.
It was probably back episode 50 or 60 when Nate said we were really good.
Yeah. Back during our glory days.
Back during the glory days, we've fallen off.
Yes. Anyway. She was arrested and charged Tuesday with solicitation to commit murder and illegal use of a computer to facilitate a crime.
I didn't even know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I need to go clear my browser history.
I was just thinking that. I need to go dump mine in the creek.
Since rentahitman.com was created in 2005, the owner has been contacted numerous times by people requesting murders, school shootings, and even a baby abduction.
Oh, wow.
Police says that it has helped prevent 130 murders because the owner always alerts authorities when someone requests a hitman. The fake website offers fictitious customer testimonials. It says its field operatives have undergone COVID-19 training. Is this to infect people with COVID-19?
Look, one of us needs to rent a hitman and put the reason that the other person likes the fries that we don't like.
Yeah.
Make the most bizarre thing in the world. See if we can hit the news for it.
Well, I want to see how this plays out in court first. Because she not say, I knew that Rent a Hitman was a joke?
Yeah, just
and
goofing.
All this was a joke.
I'm just goofing
you
here.
Know?
Yeah, that's what I'd say.
I wonder if you can go in there and request a job.
Maybe so. Right.
For rentahitman.com.
Oh, I've got good skills. Yeah. References, whatever you need.
Right, what's your name? Agent 47.
Yeah,
I've got lots of references. Now they're not going to be talking because they're all dead. Anyway, she has been placed in Monroe County Jail on a $500,000 bond, according to Monroe News. A solicitation to commit murder conviction could yield a maximum life sentence, according to the Toledo Blade, which is actually not a newspaper, but samurai weaponry made in Toledo.
Yeah. That's a tough one. Not only are you a murderer, basically, but you're also dumb.
Yes.
You have to come to that realization when you're sitting in a cell.
Uh-huh.
But once again, if you need somebody killed, you just got to do it yourself.
What if we, could we go and rent a hitman and fill out a form, but request a fictitious person?
Maybe just make up somebody.
Safe way? Or maybe somebody like Bruce Wayne.
What like Ronald McDonald?
Yes.
We want to kill Ronald McDonald.
Well, I don't know. There may be a real Ronald McDonald, but
probably.
I don't know. Somebody like I'm trying to think of.
There's a Bruce Wayne. Remember, he was he won Subway for life or something.
Well, we could go on there.
What was it? What did he win for life? You remember? He was eating burritos or something. Yeah,
he ate Chipotle every day for
that's
3
right.
years, and he got some kind of record.
He got a reward or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for playing. That was early Earth Oddity.
That was early Earth Oddity.
Yes.
Nate hadn't listened to those. He hadn't been back.
He don't know nothing about
He don't know nothing about it.
One.
Well, let's talk about some people who should have ordered a hitman. This is really not a funny story,
Okay.
but I only wanted to use it for one
I was
reason.
about to say, I feel bad now.
2 brothers and 1 woman ordered 12 McDonald's sandwiches after a vicious triple murder, deputies say.
How many
And-
sandwiches?
12,
12.
which I'm sure they got fries with all of them. All right, which proves my point that when you commit a vicious murder, the only thing that you want are some McDonald's fries, okay? 3 people have been arrested in connection with a recent triple murder in Frostproof, Florida, back in Florida.
The only cure for a triple murder is a triple burger.
That's right. Yeah, get a Big Mac and some fries. Tony T.J. Wiggins, who's 26, is accused of being the trigger man. His girlfriend, Mary Whitmore, is 27, and his brother, William Robert Wiggins, were there when the homicides occurred, deputies say. Authorities also say the defendants allegedly made a pretty hefty purchase after the killings of Brandon Rollins, Kevin Springfield, and Damian Tillman. Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd previously described Friday's slayings as a vicious murder. The victims had gone night fishing using 2 trucks for conveyances. They were then killed. According to the deputies Wednesday, a Dollar General bag and a receipt were found in Tillman's truck. The paper was dated the night of the slayings. Investigators reviewed the surveillance footage showing Tillman making purchases, and a clerk told authorities that Tillman was a frequent customer.
So that's what got him caught.
Yeah, right. Dollar General. Dollar General to the rescue.
Man.
That's why they put them everywhere. So there's dated receipts for any crimes.
Right.
It's a CIA plant thing. But this is a pretty famous story. You know, it was all over at least my social media this week. The clerk told deputies that Damien said he was going fishing. The clerk also saw the suspects in a store at the same time, and they are also seen in the video. And the clerk told detectives that the suspects heard Damien say he was going fishing and that Kevin would be with him, as the clerk listened to all of them talk to each other about it. So, anyways, detectives say they executed a search warrant at a travel trailer where Tony Wiggins and Whitmore lived. Of course, they live in a travel trailer. And authorities claim to find rifles, shotguns, and ammunition. Not uncommon for the South, or really America at all. And they initially arrested Wiggins on firearm charges because he was a convicted felon. That's a problem.
You can't
do that.
Can't get weapons after you're a convicted felon. That's the rules.
Can't vote, can't have a weapon. Some ammo at the residence was the same type as that fired at the murder, authorities said. Authorities claim Whitmore bought that ammo for her boyfriend on July 9th. Surveillance footage put both of them at the scene of the purchase, detectives said. The defendants allegedly ordered 10 double cheeseburgers and 2 McChicken sandwiches from McDonald's after the murders. They ate at home, according to this account.
Sounds delicious.
No mention of fries, but I'm sure there were fries. You don't go and not get fries at McDonald's.
I think they probably stopped by Five Guys after they got their sandwiches because they wanted Five Guys fries.
No, I bet you they didn't.
They sound like the kind of people that would go 2 different places.
It's unclear if the defendants have attorneys in the murders case, and the first appearance is scheduled for Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. So anyway, it's a pretty brutal murder, but I just wanted to point out that even after a murder, still got to get some McDonald's. So further proving my point that McDonald's is a superior fast food French fry.
They're loving it.
I'm killing folks. That's wrong. You know what they should have put on those burgers, Tiny?
What should they have put on those burgers?
Cajun Curl Bayou Blended Spice.
Of course.
That's the #1 post-murder spice on the market. Okay? I'm sorry, Brandon. We want to thank Cajun Curl Bayou Blended Spice for their support. Check them out at CajunCurl.com, and you can order the spice there and their Cajun Curl cutter for potatoes, all on their website, CajunCurl.com. It was created on the Elm Bayou in Evangeline Parish, Louisiana, and it's a seasoning that goes on everything. If you like cooking or eating, this is a spice for you. Cajun Curl Bayou Blended Spice goes well with chicken, beef, pork, potatoes, hamburgers, and anything else you can think of putting it on. Fried it up, fried some squash up this week, put Cajun Curl on it. It's great.
Delicious.
Great. My mom made some squash chips this week too with Cajun Curl on them. I'm a big squash fan. People don't know that about me. Love squash. The spiral potato cutter is absolutely amazing. It's easy to use, it's easy to clean, and it will allow you to make your own chips using the Cajun Curl spice. If you want to turn your next cookout or event up a notch, imagine whipping up a batch of homemade potato chips. Your next door neighbor isn't going to be able to top that. And let me tell you, once you put the Cajun Curl spice on it, it'll change your life. It will make you a better person, better human, better husband, better wife, better father, better son.
Better contract killer.
Better contract killer. On the website, CajunCurl.com, you can not only order the Bayou Blended Spice, but the Cajun Curl chip cutter as well. You'll also find recipes that are absolutely mind-blowing. You can locate your nearest retailer or order your own. If your local grocer doesn't carry world-famous Cajun Curl Bayou Blended Spice, ask them to start stocking it now. Here locally, it's available at Bowles Fresh Market on Skyland Boulevard, South's Finest Meats, Mark's Mart in downtown Northport, and Lurleen Wallace Piggly Wiggly. That's where you can pick it up in the greater Tuscaloosa, Northport, Coker Metroplex. All their products are made in the USA, so not only do you enjoy the taste of Cajun Curl, but you also feel patriotic while you enjoy your meal. It's all natural, low salt, and it has a little kick to it, but it doesn't burn your lips. World famous Cajun Curl Bayou Blended Spice. Taste the spice, but not the heat. Check them out at CajunCurl.com and use our promo code EOP10. That's EOP and the number 10 to get a 10% discount.
Because we ask that you use the spice, but we don't ask you to pay full price.
Amen.
All right. Let's go to the phone, shall we?
All right.
All right. Our first message comes from Kevin, a.k.a. the Dapper Man.
Okay.
World's foremost authority on French fries.
Apparently.
So, mates, this is Kevin from Florida. And first, I want to apologize for the Bluetooth headset. I listened to myself, and I sound completely horrible. It was rubbish, and I don't know how you ever able to make out anything I said. So, I apologize for that, and I also apologize for a late reply for a question I asked you, and you asked me a question back, and I didn't reply back. So, here's the answer to that. My favorite movie is To Kill a Mockingbird, following Ben-Hur and There Will Be Blood. Love those movies. The worst movie I have ever seen in my entire life is Man Off the Hands of Fate. Worst movie ever seen, hands down. No puns intended. I've had a very great week. My highlights for the past week was I went to a CollectorCon here in Jacksonville, and I got to see Sam C. Jones. He's an actor from Flash Gordon, the main actor, and he signed my Blu-ray, and I was extremely excited for that. My downside for this week is that I am renting a 2020 Ford Fusion. I really dislike driving Fords. Fords is my least favorite vehicle, and I am not used to technology this high-end. I literally spent 5 minutes inside of a parking lot trying to figure out how to start this car. I'm not even joking. I timed myself, and I was like, I don't understand, and I was losing it because apparently you gotta press the brake, you gotta press the start button, which I've never had a start button ever in the vehicle. I know how to hotwire a vehicle. I know how to drive a tractor, drove a semi, and I've always just turned a key. I know how to drive stick shift and everything. I've never had a push button vehicle, so this is very new to me. So my question for you this week is, what is your least favorite vehicle or vehicle brand? Because I can say a Ford is my least favorite. I've never had any good luck with Ford. The man at the rental was like, this is a great vehicle. I was like, it's a Ford, mate. I don't want to drive a Ford. Give me something else. And he's like, I had something else. So that's why I'm driving this Ford. Hopefully, I'm sorry I talked your ear off. I know it's already been 3 minutes, but thank you very much. Keep staying on. Appreciate it. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. So, what is your least favorite vehicle? You drive a Toyota.
I drive a Toyota.
Okay. What's your least favorite vehicle?
I'm not a fan of Dodge. I don't like Dodge vehicles. We had a Dodge for a long time.
I drive a Dodge.
Yes, you do drive a Dodge. I've never had luck with Dodges.
Okay.
I'll just say that. Had to put a transmission in the minivan, all that. I do agree with him because Deidre's new vehicle, which is a Toyota, has a push button on it. Don't like it either.
Don't like it.
No, I don't. I mean, why do we need a push button? What's the point in the push button?
I will never have a vehicle this fancy or nice unless this podcast makes us super famous.
Sure,
one day.
it's going to happen. Yeah.
We can cross our fingers.
Name it and claim it.
Yes. But I want to just get in the car and the car to just know who it is and say, welcome, Mr. Sullivan.
Okay.
Where will I be taking you today?
So you want Knight Rider?
Well, I was thinking Batmobile.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. But yeah, push button, I don't like it either. It's stupid to me. Because I'm still keeping up with keys because I need a little thing to get in the car. So, but then I gotta get it out of my pocket to get in the car with. Then I gotta put it back in my pocket so I don't leave it in the car. It's an extra hassle for me.
We had a Nissan that we rented. Like we had a car in the shop in our insurance. They let us rent a car for a week or whatever while that one was in the shop. It was a Nissan Altima, I think.
That's what my mom's got.
And I'm not a huge fan of cars just because it's hard for me to get in and out of them.
Right.
But the key was a little thing you put on your key ring. And it had a push button start, but you didn't have to do anything with it. Like the car just knew that the key was in the car.
Right.
And so you could just hop in and push the start button.
Well, that's how Deidre's works.
Okay.
It knows it's in the car. Like you can't lock it if it's like in the cup holder or whatever. But I'm not a fan. Now, I remember my first car had a separate key for the door and for the trunk,
Right.
So, I mean, I've been on the key train for a long time.
I will say my least favorite automobile, and I'm embarrassed to even mention that I owned one at one time.
Okay.
But that would be Kia.
Okay.
I had a Kia Sportage. Shamefully, I had a Kia Sport for a little while.
You remember for a while you could buy a Kia and get one for free? They ran a promo for that.
I remember that.
I was like, what does that say about your car?
If the dealership has a buy one, get one free sale on their cars, that means their cars are not great.
But look, Julio Jones owns the Kia place here in town now, so I'm sure everything's on the up and up.
Well, I was headed to the airport at 5 a.m.
Ooh.
because I was going to Fort Worth, Texas, and the Kia that I was in, the engine blew up.
Oh.
And so I had to get out. I had to call a wrecker, had to take the wrecker all the way back to Tuscaloosa because I was halfway to Birmingham.
Right.
All the way back to Tuscaloosa to the shop. Get a rental car, get back up, get on a different flight.
Right.
And it was all Kia's fault.
Yeah, I would be mad too.
I feel like that's somehow Kim Jong-un's fault.
Well, I don't know. I've heard Kias have made some great strides, but I don't think that I'll ever own one.
Maybe they have, but I'll never know because you get one strike with Tiny.
Right.
And they spin it right then and there.
That's kind of how I am with Dodge, when we got stranded on the way to Hudson's Little Heart Camp last summer.
Right.
And Deidre's dad had to bring a rollback all the way from Fed, Alabama to pick up her van and unload her mom's van so we could drive on. I was just like, I'm done with this car.
Let me ask you this. What if you were going to get a free vehicle? You could get anything you wanted.
Okay.
Sky's the limit.
Okay.
Ferrari, whatever.
Right.
It is up to you.
Yeah.
What are you getting?
Ooh, I mean, like anything.
Yes, anything.
I'd probably get. I don't hate Ferraris. I'd probably get a Ferrari.
Probably get a Ferrari.
I like a Magnum PI Ferrari.
Yeah.
Like not a new one or anything. But or like there's some old Jaguars from the '60s that are really cool looking. I'd probably drive one of those. Yeah, I don't know. What about you?
Man, y'all can make fun of me and call me a nerd if you want to, but one of those new Tesla Cyber trucks. It's not even out yet.
All right.
God, I want one of those so bad.
Tiny, biggest Elon Musk fanboy in the world. But yeah,
I want to look like Blade Runner.
Okay.
I want to ride around in a Blade Runner car.
Okay. That's cool. I mean, that's fine. I'm not like a vehicle guy. I can drive a Toyota Avalon.
I was about to say, I don't have the money to be a vehicle guy.
And I've never been a guy that like obsessed over vehicles or anything. So,
but I tell you what, if I had like Joe Rogan money,
I
can see myself being a
car guy. If I just had stupid money, I could get into it for real. Yeah.
I could be a car guy if I had the funds necessary to
like an old 69, 70 Chevelle would be cool. Like my first car was a 76 Malibu. I would probably get it again.
That would look like the Batcave.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah. I don't know that mine would look like the Batcave.
I would make mine look like the Batcave. I would have several like parked, but then like the one I drive mainly would be on one of those turntables. You know,
But I'd spend my money on a whole lot of other stupid stuff where I got into cars. You know, like I'd buy me something nice to drive. You know, like an everyday driver. But before I started collecting cars and stuff, I'd spend it on a lot of other more fun stuff like cocaine. You know.
Oh, we also got a call from Jacqueline.
Okay.
Your one defender in the French fry debate.
She knows what's up. Like, first
Y'all
of
are
all,
sisters. Y'all
once
are
you're in the Canadian
sisters. There you go.
sisterhood,
Hi, John and Tiny. Equally, it's Jacqueline. I don't play favorites. Hi to both of you equally. It is July 24th right now as I'm calling you, and as of now, Jose Maxwell is still alive, from what I can tell. And if she's not alive, well, that sucks, but I haven't heard about it. So, and also, I wish her well.
You and President Trump.
that's right. Yeah. He knows what's coming for her.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Is it just me or is that bizarre?
It is
The
bizarre.
president said he wishes her well.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out, is that code for go ahead and
Yeah.
kill her?
That activated the cell.
Yeah.
The MK Ultra guy in the prison that's going to get her. Yeah.
Right.
You know, I do. Anyway, Kanye West is really just bothersome with me. I don't know why you people, I guess, your country, is encouraging people to be president. Yes, anyone can be president, but there's only a few that actually probably should be president. I say that because now, ordinarily, I don't care what happens in your country, but it's actually starting to affect my country in a negative way. So, yeah, if you guys could go ahead and not allow people that are... Anyway, moving on, Frygate. I know it's been all over the Facebook feed. McDonald's fries are just infinitely better. I mean, they're soft when you want them to be. They're crunchy when you want them to be. They're just perfect.
That's right.
Anyone that says otherwise is just, wrong. I've been to a Five Guys once when I was in Florida, and I was very disappointed at the quality and quantity of French fries.
There you go.
So
It's going to hurt, Tiny.
on that note, what do you guys think is the best chicken strip or chicken nugget? Either way, my vote is for Popeyes only because it's just the most amazing thing. And we don't have one here in the province that I live in. So I crave them all the time and I cannot get them. So it drives me crazy. Anyway, thoughts on that. And finally, lately I have been thinking about perfect albums. Albums that I've listened to that have absolutely no bad songs on them. Every song on them is a perfect song. And I have been going back and listening to my perfect albums over my life. And the one I've been obsessed with lately, oddly, is August and Everything After by the Counting Crows. Perfect album, not a bad song on the whole album. I highly recommend anyone listen to it. So my question is, what is your perfect album? And don't say the Grateful Dead because I get that, but one that you wouldn't think of, one that people may not know about. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
All right. Well, I guess to start with,
Do you want to attack chicken or music first?
we'll go with chicken first. Because
Go
I'm
ahead.
actually a little bit embarrassed of my perfect album.
Okay.
I'm not a huge, I like chicken nuggets,
Mhm.
but, I'm more of a burger guy. That said, I would have to say Chick-fil-A. I think Chick-fil-A's got the best chicken nuggets.
Think so?
Maybe it's just because of the Polynesian sauce, and if that's the case, then yeah, that's not fair. But, when it comes to chicken nuggets, I'm probably going Chick-fil-A. You?
Well,
And God is listening.
I know. My favorite chicken place out of all of them is Cane's.
Okay.
Cane's is great. The only one here is like in the Ferguson Center on campus, so I don't get to get it that much. I love Cane's. But honestly, my favorite chicken is Guthrie's. I like Guthrie's chicken.
I like Guthrie's.
Yeah. Now Guthrie's, if you don't live around here, you don't know what it is. But it's really good.
Once again, though, for me, it's the sauce.
True.
Guthrie's has a really good dipping sauce with it.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, Guthrie's does have a good dipping sauce. I don't like Zaxby's. Just throwing that out there. My wife likes to go to Zaxby's because she likes the salad. But it bothers me that you got to pronounce their salad with a Z. And that's why I don't like going there.
That's why.
Yeah, I feel dumb when I order a salad.
I feel like Zaxby's is just Sunday Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, right. That's exactly what it is.
You can't get it, so where do you go?
Now, we had a new place open up in town this week. What's it called? Fusaki?
Yes, I've seen all their
but I don't know anything about
their
them.
social media advertising that they're bombarding my timeline with.
I just know that they've blocked up 15th Street, so I'm just like,
I've never even had it before, and I already don't like them just because of what they've done to my Facebook feed.
All right, so perfect albums.
You go first.
Well, the first one that popped in my head was the original Dr. Dre Chronic album.
Okay.
When I got that album, I listened to it all the way through without stopping. Mm-hmm. Loved it. But
you're not going to go Paula Abdul Forever Your Girl.
No, but Paula Abdul, I had the hots for her at one point in time. You know? But I really like one of my. I got a ton of favorite albums. We could do a whole Patreon episode just on favorite albums.
We might do one.
But another one that I listened to the first time I got it all the way through, and still listen to it. Like I'll put it on. I don't skip around any songs. Is Apostrophe by Frank Zappa. Mm-hmm. Great album all the way through. The first like 3 or 4 songs are like a little sweet, and it's like extremely funny, and the music's all complex. It's got a song on there called Uncle Remus, which was like talking about racial injustice way before anybody else was on the train. Now, him and George Duke wrote that song together. George Duke's famous jazz piano player, and you can hear like, you know, his influences all over. Of course, he was in Frank's band at that time. So.
Right.
And the backup singers on that whole album is Tina Turner and the Ikettes, because they just happened to be in town when Frank was recording it. So not only do you have the genius of Frank Zappa and George Duke and his super great band, but you got the Ikettes and Tina Turner singing backup. So I would recommend anybody listen to that album. It is an amazing album. Now, what's yours?
I'm going to get some hate for this, but I have to go Linkin Park Hybrid Theory.
Okay. I have no frame of reference for that. So you'll not get any hate from me.
It was part of the new metal craze back in the early aughts.
Yes.
And it was the music of my youth. And I really liked it. They were one of those bands before they went emo.
Yeah.
And their lead singer, ended himself. They were one of those bands that they couldn't decide if they wanted to be a heavy metal band or a rap group.
Sure.
So they mixed them.
They did them both together, right.
But you really, really, really liked old school Linkin Park back in the day.
What was the name of the band? Fred Durst. What was his band?
Oh, Limp Bizkit.
Were you a huge Limp Bizkit fan?
Not a huge one, but I definitely did like their music.
I don't care what anybody says. If you put on Limp Bizkit around me, my head's going to be bobbing. I love it, Yes. I can't help it.
I know.
So,
hey, it's just one of those days.
Right. It's just one of those days.
In fact, talking about Fred Durst, if you go to my Facebook profile right now, the little... What do they call that? The little
your little quote or whatever.
Little quote or whatever. Yeah, it's idiot, loser, microphone abuser.
Okay,
which is from
Fred,
one of their songs.
Okay,
it's a Limp Bizkit lyric.
Well, I don't know anything about Linkin Park to make fun of you, so
okay,
I don't care. I just know like the music you're listening to when you're like 13 to 16 or whatever is some of like. It'll trigger memories. Like you can put on Nirvana Nevermind right now, and I can tell you exactly where I was the first time I heard that album, what we were doing, all of that, or like Beck, like a Beck album or whatever. I mean, it's great, and you'll never lose that. I don't care if people think it's cheesy or whatever. I don't care. It's good stuff.
I'm just so thankful that Backstreet Boys was not a part of my formative youth.
Don't sleep on Backstreet Boys, though. They got some bangers out there, Tiny. Like I think it takes it's kind of like Christianity, Like at some point you get into musical maturity where you can appreciate something like the Backstreet Boys, and other stuff that people think stupid. Like I don't hate Taylor Swift, man. She puts out some good songs. I'm not listening to it all the time. But there's something to be said. If you can write a hit and get it on the radio and get millions of people to like it.
It means you have a lot of money.
Well, yeah, you've made a lot of money, but you've done some good stuff. But just don't hate on popular music. So I think people do it,
I feel like I'm not talking to John. I'm talking to Libby right now.
No, me and Libby, she went with me to buy some new dress shoes yesterday. We had to listen to 94.1, which is the pop station, you know?
Yes.
And that's what made me think about like all the stuff I was listening to as a kid, which my parents have great music taste. So I've always listened to good music. My mom loves the Beatles and Led Zeppelin and all that. Three Dog Night. I grew up listening to a whole range of music from classical to that. And so she knew like all the words to every song that came on. Some of them I was like, hey, you probably don't need to be singing that out loud. But I don't think she really realizes what it's saying. It's like when you would sing Afternoon Delight when it would come on when in the car with your parents and you didn't know what it was about until older. And you were like, oh, so that's what they're saying. Okay, all right. But, and I was thinking, that's what made me think about that. So kind of weird. Got a question about albums. And I was just like,
well, I don't know about you, John, but I would like to thank our Patreons.
Sure.
Every single patron we have.
Well, we want everybody else to join up too.
We do.
Yeah.
And by name, I would like to thank personally the ones who donate at the $10 or above tier. And those people are Daniel Hendrick, James White, Chris Tipton, Derek Reeves, Sharon Craig, The Dapper Man, J.D. Westfall, Ms. Jackie B., Todd Glover, Tyler Bond, Thomas Williams, Sherry Herron, Jane Updegraff, and McWill. Thank y'all so much for donating to the show.
Yeah, we appreciate it. You guys make it possible for me to justify being away from my family.
Yes. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Because now we're not doing it for free, right?
That's right.
And if you're not a part of the Patreon, sign up, and join up. We're about to record a whole nother episode.
Yeah, if you sign up at the $5 level, not only do you get a sticker in the mail and our eternal gratitude.
Sure, I'll be your best friend.
Yes, but you also get an extended show at the end of every single regular show. And sometimes those extensions, they're usually about 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, right.
And not only that, but once a month, you get an exclusive Patreon-only show. It's $5 a month. You're going to spend more than that on McDonald's fries.
Oh, you'll definitely spend more than that on Five Guys fries. They'll let you out of there for less than $20.
That's true.
Yeah. But
we'll not argue with you. You got a point there.
But I mean, whether you join or not, we still love you and we appreciate your support. And we just ask that, regardless of if you're a Patreon or not, just tell other people about the show. It's a good way for us to get with like-minded people who just want to laugh and listen to me be stupid on the iPod.
Yeah.
People don't listen to iPods anymore. Which, by the way, if you have one of those old like iPod things where you could like set your iPod on it that has speakers, I will let you give that to me. All right. If anybody has one out there.
Oh, that sounds like a deal.
That's right. I'll take it off your hand. Because I have two iPods with a ton of music on it that I would like to just put on and listen to in my office. So that's what I was thinking. I need one of those things and I could just plug them in and listen to them. Because I'm not smart enough to even remember the password to my iTunes accounts where all this stuff are.
Right.
To get all that music back. So I'll just have to listen to it in that format for forever.
You don't have like an auxiliary cable?
I do have one, but I don't.
That takes up your phone, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. And then I would just like, I'd just use them in my office, so I could listen to Frank Zappa while I'm working at work or whatever and freak people out when they come in my office. Or Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre.
Or Bill Monroe. I listen to all kind of crazy stuff. So.
Well, again, patrons, thank you.
Yes.
If you can't donate to the Patreon, if you could just tell one person about it.
That's right.
And if you have a boombox with an iPod dock.
Yes.
That John wants it.
Yeah, I want
it. For free.
Yes, for free.
Will you pay shipping or are you expecting them to ship it to you for free too?
Just get up with me. We'll negotiate that. All right. Depends on how much shipping is, right?
Right.
But there's a lot of people locally who listen. There might be somebody that's got one sitting around.
Hey, it's worth a shot.
Yeah, right. Just thought I'd put it out there in the universe.
Yeah. Let me put this out there in the universe. If you have a Tesla Cybertruck, but you don't need it anymore, I would be happy to take that off your hands.
This is where we find out Elon Musk is a huge fan, but won't join the Patreon.
That would be epic.
You get home.
Hey, I tell you what.
Next week, and you got one in your driveway.
If you want to give me a Cybertruck, I'll even give you access to the patrons
free patron.
For free. That's a deal.
That's a super deal.
Yes.
Look, hold on. Let's make that 2 Cybertrucks, okay? We just can't give it away for nothing.
Right.
All right?
Okay. 2 Cybertrucks. You
Free
get
time.
access to our patrons only feed.
Yeah, that's
without
right.
Donating to our
Without
Patreon
donating, you'll be the only person. Yeah,
for the low price of $80,000.
that's right.
That's all.
What a better deal can you get? And we're like online reviewing it all the time, right? You don't think I'm going to be snapping some pictures of me riding around in that bad boy? I'll get it stuck in the mud so quick, you know?
You might not get it stuck because they say that it really has more horsepower than most diesels. So.
I'll get it stuck. I know some mud holes that thing won't go through. All right.
I'll get Earth Oddity.
Oh, yeah, we'll get it wrapped.
Get an Earth Oddity wrap on it.
That'd be amazing.
That'd be so bad.
Tacky, you know?
Yes.
That's great.
And get like the decal, like the cracked window decal, but get it like on the window where they broke it in the
right.
in the presentation when they debuted
Like
it.
one of those with like a softball sticking out of it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we should do. Let's redneck it up real good, like
Yeah.
Bama flags on the door. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyways, Elon, if you're out there, just get up with us, man.
Right.
We'll help you out.
Yep. I guess with that said, you got anything else?
Nope. Just appreciate everybody listening.
What you got coming up in the Patreon extension?
I got a shoplifting story.
Okay.
Okay. Been Caught Stealing would be a great song by Jane's Addiction to play while I'm talking about it. So
I have a guy who got arrested for printing out some pictures at Walmart for the homies who were locked up.
Okay. All right. For
just
the boys.
Ask yourself what kind of pictures would get you arrested in Walmart.
I got a good story too to tell you about that. Not really great, but I'll tell you.
All right.
Yeah, no, but anyways, everybody, thanks for listening. We love all y'all. You know, I know times are weird. You know, like I said, 2020 has been really great for me, but I know for a lot of people it's been rough. So just keep your chin up. If you need somebody to talk to, Tiny is always available.
I am.
He will be glad to help counsel you through your time. And you can reach out to me if you want to, and I'll forward it on to Tiny for you. So,
So you'll still hear from me.
that's right.
Well, you have been listening to Earth Oddity Podcast, and we thank you so much for listening to us, no matter where you get us, whether you get us from Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, CastBox, iHeartRadio, Spotify. We're on them all.
That's right.
If you would like to email into the show, you can get us. We are earthoddity@planetmail.net.
Yep.
If you would like to tweet at us, we are @_Earth Oddity on Twitter.
The Earth Oddity Twitter really wants me to follow it.
I had nothing to do with that.
I know. That's just Twitter.
Just their algorithm.
Yeah, I know.
Do you like to look at pictures? Because John loves to post
I do.
pictures.
Nicole gave me a huge comment, this week.
You can check those out, _Earth Oddity on Instagram.
That's right.
But the best way to get in touch with us is our handy dandy phone number. What's that phone number, John?
That is 662-493-2059. 662-493-2059. Call in and tell us what your favorite album is, or perfect album,
Or car to drive.
Right.
Or best chicken nugget.
Yeah, best chicken place. Right.
We hope everyone out there has an excellent week. Earth Oddity for the Fringe Radio Network signing off.
Love y'all.
Bye.
This has been a Very Odd production. Thanks for listening.